What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Third. It is me, Sam, aka FIFA Brit, and I am joined by Mr. Brad Thomas. Brad, we are a couple of weeks into the European season. How have things been going for you? Because not to toot my own horn, this is a pretty fucking good week for me.
Dude, I've been watching it. You've been killing it. Things have been going good, man. I swept. Technically, I didn't sweep. I almost swept EPL. I forgot I lost the morning play that I added last minute, which it was like plus 175, whatever. Who cares? Today was pretty good. It's been nice, man. Premier League has been like really exciting for me.
No, it's been great. It's really funny because I sort of like openly shat on La Liga on Twitter, and then ever since that tweet, I just had like a couple of absolute bangers in La Liga, which was a lot of fun. I don't even remember the guy's name, but he was playing left wing. I think it was for Celta Vigo in the Valencia game. I think it was that game on Monday where they had some guy playing at right wing who was priced at like plus 700 and plus 3,000 for 2 and 3 first half shots, and he nailed it. That was always beautiful. And then Saul for he was at Atletico, and now he plays for who the hell does he play for now? They just played on Tuesday. So here's the thing.
Sevilla.
That's it. Yeah. And he took 3 first half shots last week. So I was like, oh, we'll sprinkle on him for 2 and 3 this week. And it was like plus 800 for 2. And he took 2 in the first 20 minutes. I would have loved a third, but I'll settle for the 2. So, the Liga ended up being not so bad. And then the EPL was actually pretty okay. Yeah, I was happy about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer and Eze turned the fuck up.
Dude, I have Cole Palmer top assists.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up, Brad, because I remember you took that.
That's the only future I took.
And
it was like, oh no, I took Isak too, top goals. I took those 2, but like I put a full unit on Palmer. I'm really excited. Yeah, even if it doesn't hit to start off, at least have 3 assists.
4, 3 or 4. He had 3 in one game for Madueke.
Yeah.
So
they didn't score against.
That's right.
City.
Yeah, you're right. That's
another situation where you can get more.
Yeah. No, that's a brilliant start. I saw him get 3, and I completely forgot to text you. I was just like, that's a good start, Yeah. And he racked them all up, literally all of them to Madueke in the space of like 15 minutes. It's just like, all right, fair play.
Could you imagine if you be a sicko and whatever sicko, even if you parlay both of them to score 2 goals and 2 assists?
I don't even know a book that lets you parlay multiple assists with multiple goals. Maybe DraftKings, sometimes DraftKings offers alts in their SGP builder, but a lot of the times they just don't. In fact, they very rarely it's rare to get 2 assists offer. Sometimes FanDuel will, as part of Champions League offerings, like I cashed a bet last season on, I think it was Dumfries, to get 2 assists at like plus 4,000. I was just like, yeah, he's playing at right wing back. I'll take that any day. And then he got him, which was great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's very rarely offered. But let's talk about what happened last weekend. Sort of go through it. We'll start with the Premier League, just because I don't want to say I told you so, Brad. But man, you are shit still,
bro. So bad. They're so bad. I didn't end up betting it, but I did bet it. Man U under 60.5 points. I did bet it. I forgot about that.
Under 60.5 points?
64 points. Under 64 points.
What are points?
On the table?
Oh, what? Like just for the season?
For the season, under 64 points.
I didn't even know you could do that. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Brighton game specifically. I was like, wait, no. I was like, what are points? Does this get made up?
No, it's like, it also reminded me of like where people bet on fantasy for soccer, and they're like, yeah, I bet this guy's fantasy score in soccer. And I'm like, what the hell? What do you get points for? That's
pretty sick. Oh, Madrid just went down. Oh, sick. Let's go. It's a guy I bet on too. Let's go. Moliero.
Really?
I bet on Moliero first half shots for Las Palmas, and he just scored a sick goal against Madrid 5 minutes in. That's beautiful.
Wow.
Gotta love that.
I had a feeling Madrid would go down because it was like wishful thinking, because I wanted to bet their corners.
Well, they're 1-0 down, so it might not be a terrible idea to get in on that.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. So to be fair, I think, man, you were unfortunate to not get a point from that game. But I mean, it was such horrific defending that I don't feel bad for them at all, honestly. And it was a sick goal, so you can't really argue with that. Yeah. I was really disappointed by Bruno's complete lack of aggression. He was back in that false 9 spot, and he just, to be fair, not so much his fault. He just wasn't really getting the same service in behind that he had been. He was also dropping a lot deeper, which was weird. It was very much like an interchangeable false 9, but with Mount sometimes drifting forward and instead of Bruno, and Bruno would drop back the way that Kane drops back when he's playing striker. So kind of difficult to sort of predict, but just kind of a bummer when he got 3 first half shots in the first week and then came away with none at all, which is, it's a pretty, it's a big difference, but also, it's early days. So that sort of variance is to be expected, but that kind of pissed me off.
It's a shame. That team's a shame because I feel like it's just personnel decisions. And I was going to bet, I literally loaded up my bet slip for Madrid corners and it just went off the board. Selection suspended.
Oh, damn. It might come back. Yeah. But yeah, so Mount just got hurt again.
Yeah.
So he's now out for, they didn't even say how long he was out for, which is just kind of like, a bummer, but also I think this is going to help. It's a bit like in the Euros when Pedri got hurt, which then allowed Dani Olmo to come to the starting lineup. It's just like, obviously it sucks to get hurt, like get better soon, please. But also this is now going to fix the problem with your lineup that for some reason you didn't see previously. Yep. Like there was no way that Pedri should have been starting over Dani Olmo. If you like anyone that watched the game is just like seeing how much Olmo changed the game coming off the bench, it's just like, no, he should be absolutely running that midfield. It would make such a huge difference. And I think it's going to make a massive difference. Now, I guess it really all hinges on whether Xerxes is healthy and ready enough to start at striker. Hopefully he is, because he's been looking good off the bench. And I just want to see, the ideal lineup that I said last week. I want to see Xerxes up top. I want to see Bruno at the 10. And then I want to see Garnacho at left wing and Diallo at right wing.
Yep. I think it's funny because like Xerxes gotta be, they need him. They like having Bruno at that false 9 is just not gonna work, dude.
Having a false 9 in general is not working for them because you can see when Diallo gets the ball, he is immediately looking for a runner in behind. And when you have a false 9, there's not always someone there, because if it's Bruno's sometimes he's making the run in behind and sometimes he's coming deeper to offer you that outlet there. And so sometimes you just end up with no one running in behind, which is terrible if you're someone like Diallo who's constantly looking to push forward. And in general, it's a very strange tactical setup. It feels like something they're not really used to playing. They need that out-and-out striker, and it doesn't look good on them.
It looks like they're doing it because they have to, not because they want to.
Yeah, which to be fair, I get, because they're in a weird. People like Garnacho played in the Copa America final, so he's clearly not quite ready enough to start, but he still looked brilliant off the bench.
Yeah, he did. So, he led the game in XG.
Yeah, I'm just begging for him to get that first start at left wing, because the second he does, I'm absolutely ripping his first half shots. Like it's going to be, I can't wait. And he keeps getting listed like nice numbers, like almost plus 200 for 2, and then between like plus 6, plus 7, plus 800 for 3. And it's just like, this man should be plus 400 for 3 first half shots. And it's just like, we're getting double that at the beginning of the season. And I really hope he starts this weekend. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be really nice. And I'm going to be in a FanDuel state this weekend. So
nice. Love
that.
It'll
be a little easier to get first half bets in.
Nice. Let's talk about a team that's near and dear to my heart. Arsenal, massive win. That felt really good. As a fan, to see us get that job done, that was a massive weight off my chest just for the season. For the season and just for that, for that particular game, because we've got a difficult schedule up front. We have Brighton, and Brighton might not sound like a difficult team, but they've been tricky for us in the past, and also, and they're top of the league.
Yeah,
well, not top of the league, but like there are 4 teams. There are 4 perfect teams. It's like it's Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and the 4th one is Brighton.
And you guys haven't conceded yet.
We haven't conceded yet. Knock on wood.
I was on the under in that game, and I got lucky.
Yeah, no, can't argue with that. I wish I wanted to pull the trigger. I know we spoke about under 2.5, and it was at plus odds too. And I was just like, I wish I'd done it. And then I just did not. And I saw it end 2-0. I was just like, you know what? Fair enough. I was amazed it was plus money.
Crazy. It didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. So we have Brighton this weekend. Then we have the international break, which is a bummer. And then after that, we have City. So we really are front loading these really difficult games up front. And what was interesting, and I think I mentioned this last week, I said how I really wish Mourinho would be ready for the Villa game because I was really concerned we were going to get overrun in the midfield. That's exactly what happened. It was I don't know if how much of the game you actually got to see, but Morgan Rogers was making Partey look like an idiot. Yeah. And frankly, it's going to go under the radar because Partey ended up scoring and making Emi Martinez look like a fool, which made me really happy. But Partey had a terrible performance. He's supposed to be that giant physical presence that's meant to challenge with the likes of Onana to stop with Tielemans, because Villa have a very rock solid physical, dominating midfield, and Partey is supposed to be that guy who is stopping that from being a problem, and he did nothing. Morgan Rogers made him look silly all game. We got very fortunate that he didn't cause any trouble. We got fortunate that Raya made another world-class save to stop a point-blank Ollie Watkins header.
Yep.
And, so we sort of rode our luck a bit there, and then Trossard came on and immediately scored. It was actually hilarious.
You bet on it, didn't you?
As soon as Trossard came on, I was waiting for FanDuel to list it. It took about a minute for them to actually list the prop. I took it. I put $10 on it because he was open at plus 900. I then went to the Discord to send out the play. And then I sent the play, and then I looked back at my TV, and he had scored. And I was just like, okay, guys, that doesn't count. I'm not tracking that one way or another because that's just unlucky timing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it was the easiest $100 I've ever made, I think. He literally scored right away. And then,
that's nice.
So that was nice.
Yeah, man. It's good to have those early the tough games early, though, in my opinion, because if you get off to a hot start, you're more likely to come back later, Like, you don't have to, like, if you get up to a hard start, you have a shaky middle, you're not going to have to be like, fuck, we have to make up this ground. But have you seen our schedule to end the season?
Yeah, no, for sure. I like getting in the difficult games early when there's no UCL going on, which is nice. Yeah. And also now we have Mourinho in, which makes me very happy because he's going to play such an important role. He's going to do what Partey is supposed to do, but isn't doing, which is just winning those midfield duels. And it's just, he was so underrated and really flew under the radar last season, but he was a brilliant centre mid, especially in the Champions League. He's like, and in Europe, he won the most duels out of any player in the top 5 European leagues.
Yeah.
And the player that was behind him was the other player that Arsenal were potentially linked to, which was Bruno G at Newcastle. So it's just like, okay, we knew what we wanted from this, which is good. But enough about Arsenal. I wanted to talk about Palace briefly.
Oh my God.
What's going on with them? Now, to be fair, since I wrote my note in the rundown, which literally just says what's going on with Palace, ? They did absolutely spank Norwich in the cup. So that was needed, I think. I think Kamada, Eze, and Mateta all scored and assisted, which is, fair play. You can't really argue with that. But in the league, they have not been brilliant at all. And it's been really weird.
They haven't created anything. Like the lack of Olise, it brings the lack of creativity. It's really scary. They went on a crazy run with Glasner when he took over in their home matches, but their last home match was dreadful. Like, it didn't matter. Like, I thought it was horrible. I was like, I can't believe this. Just not creating.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, even though it actually works out quite nicely, because even though they can't really create stuff, it makes betting on Eze shots much better. Yes. Because when this guy it's not creating stuff, he just rips. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And just a little sneak preview about this weekend, his first half shots ladder is gorgeously priced against Chelsea, who I just watched Cunha take 4 first half shots against. So yeah, I'm going back to the well. And it's priced even better, which I think is wild.
It's gonna be fun. I you know me, I love laddering Eze.
Yeah,
He's like
no,
a fair player ladder.
I know. I was so bummed that I didn't get it in the first week because I only took 3. I didn't take 2 first half shots.
Yeah,
you did the full game, which was a smart thing to do because he had about 7.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, no, but it's just brilliant to watch. I think he actually has the most. I think he has the highest shots per 90 in the Premier League right now, which is always good. So really hard not to go back and trust him with 2 and 3 because it's yet to miss. And I don't care that they're playing away from home. Chelsea have not shown any sort of defensive resilience that makes me go, yeah, do you know what? They can contain Eze. It's just not, not going to happen. And on the same, on the flip side, I don't really see Palace being able to do much about Cole Palmer either. So that's if you ever wanted the easiest dual ladder that you wanted to run in your life, it's Palmer and Eze. And I have laddered the ever living shit out of them both.
Did you parlay them or you took them each separate?
Oh yeah, I did. I took them both separately and put them both for 2 and 3 as well.
Oh hell yeah, that's exciting.
It's beautiful. I'll run down the odds when we get there.
Okay.
Speaking of the Chelsea game, I thought Wolves Chelsea was just amazing to watch, and I really hope that's what Chelsea games are going to be like now because they've actually proven that they can put together a competent attack, but they can't defend, that's the team I love to bet on. I said this all the time. It's like Atalanta from 2 seasons ago when they would put up 3 or 4 and concede 2. It's like LA Galaxy in the MLS. Galaxy do not keep clean sheets. They score they just make their front, their offense is now they have Marco Reus and it's Paintsel and Peck with Jovic, and then they have Ricky Puig playing as a midfielder. So they just stack they front load their attack, score 3 or 4, and then concede 2 or 3, and they're just fine, we'll win every game 4-3, and it makes both teams to score over 2.5 the easiest thing ever.
I think that Maresca knew his defense was going to be bad when he made that statement, before the season started, where he was like, "This project's not focusing on this year. It's going to be it's going to take its time, and then we'll be I'm paraphrasing, but then we'll be good, then we'll be challenging for."
That's basically what he said.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he knew.
Yeah, we'll see. But
There'd be fun to bet on. That game was really cool. It was funny because in my article I had Wolves plus a quarter. No, it was plus a half, and I was like, oh, this bet sucks. It's holy, I can't believe I just wrote about this.
Yeah, it happens.
I didn't actually bet it. I was just it wasn't an official bet. It was just a suggestion, but holy crap.
We've all blanked before,
Yeah.
La Liga, not much to say, honestly, apart from the fact that Barca look really actually quite good, and Madrid seem to be getting there, but they start all their games really slowly. And I shared the prices on FanDuel of their first half shots, and it's just Mbappe's minus 200 for 2 first half shots. And I'm just this is when I wish you would offer me an unders on this, because they took 4 shots in the first half total, just as a team.
Yeah, I was on weekend. I was on someone. I was on one of their players, and I couldn't remember who it was. And I can't remember who it was, but they were. I was like, "You gonna take a shot? Are you gonna take a shot?" And it was just no shot. They did get a lot of corners though. For corner bettors, we're happy.
Yeah, and even watching them in this game right now, they're 1-0 down, and even 1-0 down, they're not exactly playing particularly aggressively, which is just very strange to watch. So it's really interesting but they're also one of those teams where I'm not concerned about them because they will fix it later on. I'm mildly concerned about their lack of depth, but the results just inevitably will come, and they also usually get the job done last minute anyway.
Yeah, they love leaving it late. It feels like sometimes this team they're like, where should I go or where should I position the ball, which happens a lot on this team. Yeah, this current team.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of it late, hopping over to the Bundesliga, Leverkusen are doing this shit again.
God.
Again? Realistically, how long can they keep it? Because we literally just said they can't possibly keep doing this, but maybe they can.
Maybe
we consider the fact that they just can keep doing this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
What did they sell their souls to the devil? That was a fun game though. Start to finish was a really fun game.
Yeah, I mean, all of their games are really fun, honestly. Yeah. It's just because, and it's just it's so interesting now because there's this mental aspect to it as well, because now clubs are just they keep coming back. They keep coming back. And it's
Didn't
just
that game have like 8 minutes of stoppage time too?
I think it had like 10 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, it did.
The penalty was given in the last minute, which Wirtz then missed and scored the rebound.
Oh yeah, he missed.
That was the thing. Like it was just like, you know, it wasn't like he just scored it right away. He had to do it in the most dramatic possible way.
Most dramatic fashion in the 99th minute. It was such a Leverkusen win.
I know, it was absolutely ridiculous. And then Bayern did the same thing on the Sunday. They were 2-1 down to Wolfsburg and came back and won 3-2. So really, you know, I'm fascinated to continue to watch this Bundesliga race go, because I think both of these teams look decent. So it's going to be really interesting.
I had a lot of fun with that Bayern game because I had Musiala to score or assist and Bayern first half. I'm like, at least all the stress was gone out of the way, because that game would have been stressing me out if I had Bayern full game money line or Bayern in over 1.5, over 2.5. Excuse me.
No, for sure. Let's hop over into Italy. I want to talk about your team, Juventus. You guys look really good.
We look really good.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
It's crazy. It's fun. Like away days under Allegri, we'd be like prodding around, letting them have the bulk of the ball, not shooting, not scoring.
Yeah, you played.
Our man betting the pitch hit me up and was like, "What do you think about the game?" I go, "I mean, I feel like we have to take money line, but just knowing Juventus on the road, it's so scary, and it was so stress free."
That's the thing. Juventus on the road always used to be scary, but you guys look really good.
We look really good, and we don't even have our full-time starting lineup yet. You know, like we still got to get those guys in. It's gonna be exciting.
I know we'll talk about it when I get to Ligue 1 in about 2 minutes, but one of the guys that is just going to be an absolute value wagon for assists is Yildiz. Guy was listed at plus 500 or plus 550 for an assist, and he's literally like, he's been given the number 10 and he's playing in the 10 role, and he's just, I mean, beautiful pass to Vlahovic, who scored it, you know, brilliant finish in the box. So if they continue to price him above, like even above plus 300, I think is just a great price, while he continues to start in that attacking mid slot.
Yep. You know, one of my Discord mates was like, "Yo, we got to take Vlahovic 2+ goals," and of course, I freaking didn't. The odds were really nice.
No, well, I had it lined up because I wasn't sure if he was going to get credited with that goal, with the second goal of the game. Yeah. When I forget who it was, that this random ass dude that just flew in and got the header on the back post on the right hand side. And then Vlahovic was like right there, and then apparently he didn't touch it. And I was just like, I was scanning the replay, just being like, did he get that? Did he get that?
You were ready to make some money.
Yeah, just to see if I could slide in and just stick it on Vlahovic 2 goals in case they then retroactively changed it. Yeah. It ended up not changing it. So I just I didn't touch it because I couldn't tell conclusively if he had touched it with his head or not. And then of course he went on and scored anyway. So it was just like, look, he did it. But yeah, no, I thought they looked really good. And then on the flip side, you've got AC Milan, who are sort of in the same boat as Crystal Palace, just like very, very hyped in preseason. And now it's just like, what's going on over there?
Very bad is what I've been calling them. Like someone was like, "Hey, should we bet Milan double chance?" It's like -110. I said, "Not a chance, bro." Like, don't put a penny on that crap.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then wrapping it up with Ligue 1, the other value guy that I want to talk about is João Neves, which I know you love him because we both played him for an assist, which was beautiful. He was listed at plus 550 or something like that, and he's now got 4 assists in 2 games, which is ridiculous.
Insane. Bro, he could have had way more assists too.
Yeah,
dude, he was passing dimes. I was like, holy crap! I just bought BN Sports. So now I can actually see the game in full clarity instead of streaming on these stupid raggedy sites. And it was nice to watch those passes.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I mean, PSG just looked really good. I think it wasn't like much of a question, but it was, worth talking about is, how would PSG respond to life without Mbappe for the first time since 2017, 2018, they signed him. And they look really good. So
yeah, they look really good. They look really fluid. Mm-hmm. I really do like Barcala's his I don't even know like his not freedom, confidence. I like his confidence. Like now he's cutting inside, taking aggressive shots, which is really cool to see.
Well, it's good because it's kind of like how when you take like Ronaldo out of the lineup in Portugal, how the rest of them can kind of shine because you haven't got someone taking up that much shot volume who is on the end of all the focal points of your attacks. Now you can kind of spread it around really evenly, which is, I think it's always really nice. That being, as much as I love a focal point on a team when it comes to like betting from an enjoyment perspective, it's nice when teams sort of like share the love. And I think, Barcola, I think, is a really solid player.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how he does. And of course, now I have to pay attention to PSG because they're going to be playing Arsenal in the Champions League.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to that game. That should be really entertaining. I'm not sure if we have time to go into the full details around the Champions League draw, but maybe we can save that for next week.
Yeah, we can save it for next week.
And then Marseille looked really good, and Greenwood continues to cook, which is
Marseille looked good, but they didn't win. That was weird.
Yeah,
weird game. But they still looked really good. I mean, I know you hate this, but they definitely deserved that win.
Yeah, but like, do they? I don't. You know, I don't like that,
bro. They had so many open looks in front of the box and just would miss the frame. Like, I was like, what are you doing?
Well, you know what I would say to that, Brad? Maybe put it on frame.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, we could talk about how that's a good sign of their attack and how, in the long run, law of averages, they should make it work later on. But for the purposes of this game, should have done better.
Yeah, should have.
Well, let's talk about this weekend. We'll start with the Premier League because you know me, I love to start in the Premier League. And it turns out the early kickoff is, in fact, Arsenal-Brighton. Like I said earlier, it's two teams that have won both of their games so far. Arsenal are at home, and it's one of those games where it's just like, is this going to be easy? No. Should Arsenal win? Absolutely, yes. It's a must. It's a must win.
Must win. I was confused on what I was going to do with Arsenal. If I was going to take Arsenal to win and under 4.5, Arsenal to win over 2.5. I ended up just taking Saka 2+ first half shots. It was plus money.
Yeah.
I like that line. I still going to be pretty down on this Brighton team. Like we just don't know what we're going to see out of them, right? Because they've played Everton and then who'd they play last week? United. And I'm down on United. And if it weren't for like if it weren't for João Pedro in the 95th minute, like we'd be having a totally different conversation about Brighton.
No, I mean, I don't know if we'd have a totally different conversation. I think 1-1 against Man U is not a terrible result. All things considered.
No, not at all. I just think that I don't know. I've heard a lot of people saying like, "Wow, this Brighton team's amazing," blah blah blah, and I think that's a little overblown by the two matches that they've played.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a very good squad. I think we can say they've had a very good summer transfer window. But it's been 2 games, but also 2 wins from 2 games is perfectly fine, especially if one of those games is against Man U. And now we'll see how they do against Arsenal.
Yep.
I want to pull the trigger on Saka first half shots. It's really hard to say no on a giant plus number, but just seeing, to be fair, I mean, he got 1 against Villa, but Villa also played very physically and also resorted just hacking the shit out of him, which upsets me and is also just really frustrating in general because it means he's not taking shots, Yeah. And it's a bummer, but I will probably go back to it. I just haven't locked it in yet.
I just think he's got a pretty good matchup too, right?
Yeah.
Got old ass players, slow ass players right there. The only young fast player is Gilmore, but I don't even think he's like that talented in the midfield there. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. Billy Gilmore was going to Napoli the last I heard. That I assume that fell through.
Yeah, I think it did.
They got McTominay instead. Weird that they're shopping for just like mid-tier Premier League centre mids.
It just didn't make sense. Like, what do you need McTominay for?
God knows. They're still trying to offload Osimhen to Chelsea or Saudi Arabia.
Like, highest bidder, please take him.
I know. It really is funny.
It was funny because there was like this huge market for him. I think they put the price tag so high. Now people are just like, no.
And he just seems like a bit of a problem player, which is kind of turning people off the fact that even though he's a decent striker, it's just like, do we want this guy in the squad? And I know for a fact Arsenal do not like that shit.
Yep. Hell no.
We've been there before, and we don't want it again. Other game I want to talk about is West Ham City. These are both the games on Saturday. this one's interesting. It was the last game of last season when Arsenal were kind of praying that West Ham would get them a result, which of course was never happening. West Ham look decent. I'm not going to say they look really good yet, but Thomas Souček's new role as a more advanced number 8 is really throwing me off.
It's like,
it's really weird. And it's frustrating because I looked at his prices for the EFL Cup in midweek, and the books have already adjusted. I mean, this guy used to be plus 800 for 2 first half shots last season. He was like plus 250 for 2 first half shots, and his 3 first half shots was not even plus 1,000. He got 3. He was pulling some Angel Reese type bullshit where he was like, he took 3 shots all in like the 40th minute, just like getting his own rebound off like players. And I was just
West Ham didn't have a shot for the first 35 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And then he just
8.
Yeah, and then he just rocks up and just went like back to back to back in the space of a few seconds. And I was just like, well, that's not like, I don't regret not taking it because the prices sucked. And also that's not really how you expect your shots bet to cash. Yeah. But I was just like, why? He's playing so advanced. It's really weird. But if we get nice odds against City, then I might have to check it out.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get nice odds. I think I looked at his line. It was nice.
Yeah,
even I gotta go. That line's pretty high too.
I'll dig into that, but I mean, City are such wagons, but on the road it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll sprinkle like a little quarter of a unit across 2 and 3. Haven't decided yet, but I do want to talk about the game that excites me the most. Of course, it is Chelsea against Palace. This game I think is going to be absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to run you through. I'm gonna, I rarely drop this much free content, but I'm going to get ready, Brad. I'm about to unleash this massive ladder. Okay, here's what we're doing. We're doing Eze 2 and 3 first half shots, 2 first half shots at plus 195, 3 first half shots at plus 650. I did 0.75 units on 2 and a quarter of a unit on 3. So that's 1 unit on Eze. Cole Palmer first half shots. 2 first half shots at minus 130, played that to win a unit, and then I put half a unit on 3 first half shots at plus 250. That's about 1.8 units. And then I played them together, 2 each at plus 444 for half a unit, and then 3 each at plus 2648 also for half a unit. I went big on that one because I just feel really, really good about this matchup. Yeah. And yeah, I'm really excited. If it's anything like that Wolves Chelsea game, this game is going to be incredibly back and forth. Neither team can really defend, and they both run their teams through these players.
Yep.
And my guess is, they also take free kicks, also brilliant. So yeah, feel really good about that. Full ladders, solo and together.
That's exciting.
So I'm ready. I'm dialed in on Sunday.
That's really exciting. That game's gonna be fun. I have 0 bets in that game right now.
Oh, get him in, Brad. It's time. This is gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a banger, I think.
No, for sure. And then the last game I want to talk about in the Prem is Man U Liverpool. Now and this is at Old Trafford, and I was really hoping that maybe we get like both teams would be like fairly like close to being even. Maybe I could sneak a tiny bet on Liverpool for like minus 120, minus 130. Yeah. They are like minus 120 on the money line away from home. And I'm just like, God damn, it's almost disrespectful to the point where I want to take Man U, but also that would feel really stupid if Liverpool just rock up and, just handle them. I don't think they're going to destroy them, but slots, Liverpool have looked like they control games.
They don't give up those easy counters, which is really nice. They're the force to be reckoned with. I have Liverpool, so I gave out this parlay: Manchester City team total over 1.5, and Liverpool double chance. But I still like Liverpool to win that. Man, that team looks just so good, in control. The fact that they are playing so well in control, getting a lot of shots, and not leaving themselves exposed makes them dangerous.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I mean, yeah, if I had to pick a team to win, it's going to be Liverpool. But I just really, I want to bet Man U shots, but I just don't know if they're going to have enough of the ball to shoot.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, this would be the weekend that they bring Garnacho back. And I'm just like, I want to bet him so much, but why is it against Liverpool?
Yeah.
of all teams.
Of all teams,
So,
it's I think like if you don't bet on Liverpool, if you bet on United and they get blessed, I think it's like one of those where you're just like, oh, what was I thinking, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'll leave it alone for now, see how they line up and go from there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's really all I want to talk about in the Premier League. Are there any other Prem games that you felt really in love with?
Let me think. I don't think so. I think actually every game we covered was a game. Oh, yep, I forgot one. The Aston Villa match. I took Villa money line. Man, I just don't see. I think Villa scored twice in this game, right? I don't see who on that Leicester City team are going to help them score multiple goals. 37-year-old striker, like, no. Also, they played a decently strong midweek lineup. And I went back and I looked at Aston Villa, how they did against newly promoted teams on the road last season. 3-0 on the road to all three newly promoted teams.
Fair enough.
I also think this team, Steve Cooper led team for Leicester City, is not as creative in front of net, and I think you can kind of see that influence, right? Like with Chelsea, right? Like they're looking more creative in front of net. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Pretty cool. I took them. I did take them a little bit better price than is posted now. I think they're like minus 135 now, but I think that's like my cutoff, like dead cutoff at 135.
Yeah, fair enough. And not that it's relevant, but Steve Cooper might be the ugliest fucking man I've ever seen.
Ugliest. And when his teams fail, it makes me even more upset because he's so damn ugly.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's I hate to do this to my own people, but he just looks really English. In the same sense that Cole Palmer looks really English.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. Not a good representation of the people. I'm really carrying the country on my back over here, Brad.
You are. You and your beautiful face. You're like,
exactly.
They see you, like Americans see you, like, God, this is what all English people look like. And then they just like go and get disappointed when they get down there. They see Steve fucking Cooper.
Yeah, the accent is doing some heavy lifting. But that's really all we got for the Premier League. Let's briefly hop over to La Liga because there are a couple of interesting games. Also, I want to touch on the fact, why has La Liga got ridiculous turnaround this week? Why are they playing? They played on the weekend, then they immediately dived into game week 3 for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now they're going back into games in the weekend.
It's weird. It's
like, why?
What's funny is when I was watching the maybe it was the Barcelona game, and the commentators threw me way off. They're like, yeah, they have midweek matches already, and I was like, you have double match day
literally like they played on Friday and then played on Monday. It's like 3-day turnarounds with 2 weeks into the season. Was this necessary?
Yeah,
I don't.
What game are you looking at here?
Bilbao against Atletico Madrid, I think, looks nice, and Real Madrid against Betis, I think, is also potentially a banger. And by that I mean I'm just really curious to see how it goes. That being said, I put this game on my list, and then today I saw that Fekir might be going to Saudi Arabia. If Fekir does go to Saudi Arabia, then forget what I said. I don't think Betis have anything.
Dude, the bet I was going to give out on this show went from minus 110 to minus 130 now. I was going to take Villarreal, draw no bet. It was minus 110 last night. It's already up to minus 130, minus 132. This Valencia team is another team that I'm fading with inability to create. I know Villarreal like literally suck on the road in terms of keeping clean sheets, but if they can manage to find 2, then I feel pretty good about that bet. Both teams to score is already minus 155.
Ooh, interesting.
But I like the draw no bet because if it ends 1-1, you still have get your money back.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. And then Bilbao Atletico I think could be a really interesting one. But it also sort of hinges on whether Nico Williams is going to start, which he hasn't been. He's only started 1 out of the 3 games. And it's just like, is he at first, like week 1, I was like, okay, he played in the final of the Euros. Fair enough. He's slowly coming back. What I then don't get is him starting and then not starting again. Again, I know it was a quick turnaround. Like they had 3 or 4 days between their games, but either this guy is fit or he's not. And he looks fine when he comes on. So I don't really get it. So I can't really make a prediction about the game because without him, they are just like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas,
literally just okay.
Yeah. And then, but also same thing with Atletico because they just played in a game that somehow ended 0-0. But I saw Sola take like 4 shots in the first half. Alvarez got 3, which made me really happy because I didn't think that was going to hit.
You bet him, right?
Yeah, I did. I bet him for 3, and I just didn't. Soloth is clearly the target man, so I think I'm going to have to move away from Alvarez now because they're just whipping in crosses, aiming for Soloth's head, and it's just like, okay, if anyone's going to get trusted with shot volume, it's going to be him. Alvarez was just kind of like incidental.
Yep, agreed.
Outside of that, don't really care about much else in Spain. So let's fly over to Germany. Yeah. And we have an absolute banger of a game. We have Leverkusen against RB Leipzig. I locked this in now because I think it's going to move. I haven't seen if it has yet, but I took both teams to score over 2.5 and a goal scored in each half at -107.
I like that. Wow, I like that a lot. That's a banger.
Yeah, I very rarely add a goal in each half because I've been fucked on it before. I typically try and just do both teams to score over 2.5, but it was like -140, which is just a little too much for me. Even though, if you wanted to take both teams to score over 2.5, I wouldn't hate -140. But in this game where there's just so much, I anticipate a lot of chaos, I am perfectly fine adding a goal in each half. And I think my almost even money on that, I think is pretty good.
I like that game's going to be an absolute banger. I like a bet in Bayern Munich versus Freiburg.
Ooh.
And I'm make sure the odds haven't changed. In the corners market, I'm almost there. Oh, they did change. Damn. The line moved to -2.5. I liked Bayern Munich -1.5 first half corners. But if you shop around, you can play full game at -3.5 corners, which is still fair. It's still a fine price. Cool. I just wouldn't suggest anytime you get to the 2.5 number for first half, you're just kind of like needing a lot of luck.
Yeah, for that much like early on.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Anything else in Germany that you have?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, then allow me to take you all the way over to France.
Yeah.
And let me sell you on. Wait till you hear this price. Lille PSG, which the teams in first and second, both look really good. Over 2.5 goals, -125. No need for both teams to score. Just straight up over 2.5 goals, -125. Wow. And I took that on Caesar.
That's nice.
Right? Because it's like
really nice.
It's like -135, -140 elsewhere. And, PSG could, in theory, do that on their own.
They could do it on their own. And I also don't think they're keeping a clean sheet.
I also don't think they're keeping a clean sheet either.
Which makes that a lot nicer, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to be a banger, top of the table clash very early on. I think these are, Lille, Marseille, and PSG are probably the best teams in the league right now. So,
yep.
Really interested to see how that one shakes down. But I do not see much defensive work going on here at all.
That's a good banger.
Yeah, baby. Any games in France that you like? I'm never quite sure how you feel about Ligue 1.
No, France, I'm pretty selective.
Fair enough.
I won't have anything in France until lineups come out. I didn't see anything that was like just caught my attention.
Can't argue with that. In which case, I'll take us over to Italy. Again, more your area of expertise. But we have a couple of really interesting games over in Italy. We have Inter Milan against Atalanta and Juventus against Roma. And, well, I mean, obviously, Juventus is your team. So we can start there. How do you think that game's going for Juventus? I mean, considering Roma haven't looked brilliant.
Roma look horrible. And I think I think that we bless them. And I think there's another -130 line that you have to take. Mm-hmm. So with Roma, it's funny because they got all these new players, and like outside of Dobovic, the new players they got are just like bargain bin players.
Yeah,
and I mean that in the nicest way. I'm not trying to obviously be disrespectful, but they just went on like the worst teams and grabbed the worst team's best players. Like
you know who did that when City when City got money in 08 for the first time, rather than go out and bring in sort of like international talent, which they did to a certain extent with guys like Robinho, but they just searched around at all like the mid to low table Premier League clubs and just said, right, we'll have him. Like they took like Scott Sinclair from, I forget who Scott Sinclair played for, baller. They took Roque Santa Cruz from Blackburn. You know, they just sort of poached those players from that, you know, and it didn't work. Interestingly enough, it wasn't until they started sort of looking abroad and bringing in guys like Aguero, you know, and stuff like that, and that it really kind of started to work. But before then, that was their strategy of just sort of like taking mid-table, you know, players that looked good, and it was not good at all.
Yeah, I kind of liked the under in Lecce, but it's a little too juiced, and I didn't want to play under 2.25, but I think that game's gonna end like 1-0. 1-1 at the most.
It's a real bummer you didn't hop on this Madrid corners line because Madrid now have 4 corners. Oh, you did?
I did. I hopped on -1.5 and -2.5. And they think they are up 4-0.
Yeah, I was just going to say they just had their 4th corner. So
I did. I did. It was funny because I have like a phone stand where I can live bet and stuff. And
that's smart.
I'm actually glad that we were live betting because I wouldn't have been looking at my phone. My buddy is coming. He's in town. And he's coming. We're going to the football game. My front desk has been calling me for like 20 minutes. I didn't even realize it until I went to go check my bet because he's downstairs and concierge was like, hey, can you let him up? Kind of bad.
I am just I'm just trying to see if Tchouaméni just got a shot at the end there. He got it, came off his head, and I bet
I hope it's a shot for you.
I really hope so. I just bet I had Tchouaméni first half shots, and that would be his first, and that was clearly a fucking bounced off his head, and now it's half time. So
did they count it?
They haven't given it yet.
I hope
we'll see. We'll find out. But yeah, I mean they haven't listed assist lines for this Juventus game. But again, I want to go back to Yildiz assist, but they just it's not there yet, so I don't know what it is.
It's exciting, like to literally be comfortable in betting Juventus games and be confident in us winning, you know?
Mm-hmm. It must feel good.
Dude, my new warm-up jersey just came in the mail yesterday too, and I wore it this morning on my Bet US show. It felt really good to wear it with confidence.
Nice. Love that. Any other games you want to talk about before we wrap it up, Brad?
No, man. No. I'm literally going to text you all weekend and be like, yo, give me some first half shots because you're way better at it than I am. I get mine here and there, but now that I can have free reign to bet it while I'm in Tennessee, I want to be going after it, bro.
Yeah, let me know. I'm looking forward to it. I mean the Palace Chelsea game, obviously, but a couple of other games that look really interesting as well.
Yep.
But yeah, alrighty. Well, that concludes our little sesh. Some good games coming up this weekend. Brad, anything you want to plug before we say goodbye?
Yeah, man. Make sure you guys follow me on X at MrBradThomas and NBCSports.com. My Premier League betting power rankings have been released for last week. We're freaking awesome. This week's will release tomorrow midday or Friday midday, excuse me. So you guys make sure you check them out. And just a little side note, because some people were confused that probably didn't follow me last year. This is not a recommendation to bet every single game. There's a bet for every single team. It's just a way to keep track and become a better long term. You notice things about teams. So that's all it's meant for.
Nice. Yeah, you tell them. Don't forget the Twitter plug too.
At Mr. Brad Thomas.
There you go. Nice and easy. And if you want to, you like easier Twitter usernames, well, mine's even easier. At FIFA Brit. I will have some free plays posted on Twitter, but as always, all of my plays will be available in the Gold Boys Discord. You can sign up at goldboys.com. It's a brilliant time to sign up. Loads of sports. We got American football coming back. Obviously, soccer is in full swing, and we're coming to the exciting end of baseball as well. So yeah, brilliant time to sign up. You can do that at goldboys.com. While you guys are here listening to this beautiful podcast of ours, if you aren't following the podcast, go ahead and do that. And if you're feeling generous, go ahead and drop us a 5-star review as well. Thank you very much to the Gold Boys Network for continuing to host this ridiculously chaotic podcast. We appreciate you greatly. Brad, lovely to see you, and I look forward to catching you next week, buddy.
Yes, bro. Let's get after this bag, man. Let's get after this bag.
Damn right. And to everyone at home, thank you for listening. Best of luck with all your bets, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.